Hello everybody, this is Paul Malone and I'm doing a video today on Ideal Forms designing with a new layout editor that we have, and I'm going to cover a couple of the new functions we have for getting context help. So to get started, I've selected one of my form groups, one that I've used before, and it's got two simple forms in it, a basic form and then a list. I'm going to go ahead and design the new form here. And what's going to come up is your normal form designer with a preview of the form here on the left. Now, the change is right here. The main change is right here in this Edit Layout section, where before we showed just the layout of the cells. Now we're showing some additional content inside those cells over here on the left, and we're providing help context for making changes to the layout itself. So to show you this in practice, I'm going to go ahead and use some of the functions here, and I'll describe what each of them do ahead of time. Before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and manually change the layout so I have some more real estate to play with. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself 8 rows, and I'll go ahead and give myself 6 columns. And if I click Edit Layout, we'll see the entire grid show up. So I'm going to go ahead and move this to the side, and I'm going to expand the form fields. The first thing I'd like you to note is that as I click on any given cell, I get my context menu, but I'll also highlight that specific cell in the form field section. So if I click on 5.1, I see form buttons. That's my text area. That's my second text box, and this is the HTML control. So first, let's go with, we'll just fly through them top to bottom. So the delete field will delete the contents of a field if it is in there. So I'll go ahead and select this first field and click delete field, and that goes away and you'll see it disappear from here. Second is to delete the row. If I want to delete row 6.1, or let's go with 2.1, I can delete the row and you'll see that everything shifts up. Next we have delete column. I'll go ahead and delete column 2, and you'll see now that I'm down to 5 columns instead of 6. Next we have insert row above. If I want to put a row above this guy, I can say insert row and that will come back and everything will shift down. I can put 1 down here, insert row above. I can then click here and do an insert row below, and it'll shuffle things down. So everything functions as you would expect. The set column widths is a dialog that will allow me to set the widths of each of these columns. If I don't have any widths set, it'll default to 50. If I say OK, everything will go down to 50 pixels. And then if I want to go modify them, I'll go ahead and give my first column 500 pixels. My second one, I'll give 200 pixels. I'll give my third 10 pixels. I'll go 100 pixels and 200 to end. If I say OK, we see that my form has stretched out. We see a little bit of overlap here on the cell addresses. If I wanted to fix that, I could come in here and just change. That's the 10 pixel one. I'll change it from 10 to, say, 30 pixels so we can see the address. So that's this column right here. Now, we also have the ability to add a field anywhere we want. So if I click on cell 4.2 and I click add a field, it'll automatically put in an HTML style field, but then I can come down and effect changes to here. And when I render it, preview form, we'll see here is my new text there. Coming back to the layout editor, the next thing I can do is set field span. So this is the ability to cross multiple columns with a given field. So if I want my text area, let's say, to span columns 1, 2, and 3, I click Set Cell Span, and what it's saying is for cell 5.1, how many columns do I want it to span? And I'll go ahead and set this to be 3, and then we see that the text area is going to extend through 3 columns. Next, we have a copy field. So let's say I like my text area and I want to copy it. I can then grab that and copy it down to, let's say I want to put it in 6.1. So now I have two text areas, one in 5.1 and one in 6.1. If I preview my form, I'll see them both here along with my new text over here. Coming back to the designer, I'll go to the last field, which is move, the last control, which is move, and it functions as you would expect. I can take 3.1 and move that field and put it anywhere I want. So I will move that. I'll move them up to 1.1 and say OK. And now that text box will be all the way at the top. And if I preview my form, we'll see all the changes. And there you have it. The last thing I want to mention is the context menu. So I've gotten a lot of questions about the help and finding the specific help for the various field settings. Over time, we're going to go ahead and apply edit rules on this form, so only valid settings will be available based on the control type you select. In the meantime, what we have are these context question marks. So based on the control type that you select, such as text box, I can click any of these check boxes, or pardon me, question marks, and it will then open a help form for that specific setting. So I clicked on the outer style for text box, and it's going to give me a description of what that particular field does, and it'll give me a few options, such as background color teal. I can copy that, come back here, paste it into my outer style, and then preview the form, and we'll see that my outer style has changed. And all of these work, so I can select any of the functions such as button. If I wanted to look at what a button was, I could go look at what is the caption for a button, and it'll bring up caption for button. This is the label of the button. Click on this button, that's my example, and it shows you kind of what the text context is, pardon me, the context help is. So hopefully that'll help people when they're setting these fields. It'll tell you if the style or the setting is not applicable for the particular control type, and as I said, shortly we'll be adding a dynamic control or a dynamic behavior that will gray out the fields that are not applicable for the particular control type you've selected. That is it. I hope this was helpful. Have a great day.